Have you ever been presented with a problem and instead of despairing just smiled and asked, "What if?" There's so many questions, often unhelpful ones, so I'm going to stay away from the hows, whos and whys and concentrate on what if. So where do we start? How do we start? Can we really make a difference? Today, I start by asking, what if about education? Education is essential for equality, for prosperity, for the future, and it has been, like so many other things, disrupted by the coronavirus. The schools largely shut and education largely paused for months. Some schools managed to transition to online distance learning and kept their students progressing in many areas, while others barely kept in contact. And now, with cases in the student population requiring students, classes and even whole year groups to self-quarantine for weeks, the disruption continues. The differences in resources available and practices in use at the start of lockdown have been defining differences in what each school has been able to do to adapt quickly to the changed environment. The current and past situations should not be defining for the future. They are merely the start points. The end point is the important one. There are two issues to tackle. Firstly, how to make sure that the lockdowns have not adversely affected the life chances of anyone in education. In other words, how do we enable everyone to catch up on what they've missed out on? Secondly, how do we, in the government's words, level up education to make sure that the system is better than it was before? These sound like big problems, maybe complex problems, certainly. So let's make a start. What if we change the start of the school year? At the moment, the school year runs from September to July the following year. This is a historical solution to ensure that the maximum number of children would be in education and not prevented from attending due to farming. Clearly, the number of people required by farming these days is far fewer due to mechanisation, and anyway, the law says that all children must be educated, whether through state or private school or homeschooling. So let's change the start of the school year to January and have it line up with the calendar year. This simple change would give the schools an extra 3 months to make sure that everyone is caught up to where they should be. The positives are obvious. Time is given to replace some of the lost time. One less obvious advantage would be that exams could then be set in autumn, when it is cooler in the halls, making it more comfortable for the students sitting them. The negatives exist too, but I do not believe they are big enough to warrant not going ahead with this idea. The students would emerge 3 months older, not much of a penalty when it has protected their futures. Some students would be in the wrong year, as the age cut-off would also shift by 3 months. Well, that is a problem that resolves itself over time as the new entrants come through the system. There may be some cases where individual parents and teachers agree to move up a student to their correct year, where it's clear that they would easily be able to cope. So there we have it. What if we change the start of the school year? I think there is great merit in this idea. It's relatively easy to bring in, it's simple to understand, and it helps solve the problem of the lost time. But is that all we can do? What if we went further? What if we changed education more radically? At the moment, most schools start just before 9 in the morning and finish a little after 3 in the afternoon. What if we started school at 8:30 in the morning and finished at 4 o'clock? This actually increases the school day only by about an hour. This extra hour can be put to many different uses. Initially, the schools could simply use it to extend break and lunch times, while full consultations take place on how to make use of the extra time. Personally, I would prefer it being used more constructively. If the existing curriculum was continued unchanged, there would be 5 extra hours each week to make sure that the students who are currently struggling have extra time and support to make sure they do not fall behind. Remember, the 5 hours is almost like another school day, minus the breaks. The students who are not struggling, who are not falling behind, could use the time to increase their learning in their favourite subjects, or learn entirely new subjects or skills. The resources for this are largely already available. We have the BBC with its bite-sized series. We now have the Oak National Academy, where a great many lessons have been provided online. These two wonderful resources alone mean that for students who are not struggling, they only need minimal guidance from their teachers to fill this time constructively. There are benefits for working parents too. The slight extension to the school day could make a big difference as to how to fit everything in. I speak from my own experience as a parent here. I know the balancing act would be easier with these changed hours. There are many out there who have to do all this balancing as a single parent and really struggle. The final thing is that many private schools already have these kinds of hours, and these are the schools that we should be looking to learn from. Can we go further? Well, yes, again, I think we can. What if we restructured the whole school year? At present, we have 3 terms, each of which is split roughly in half. What if we had 7 6-week half terms? Well, this would mean that if each half term was followed by 1 week's holiday, there would be 3 additional holiday weeks to fit in. The increase in school time is 3 weeks, and the total holidays reduced to just 10 weeks. Now, 10 weeks is still a lot more holiday than most people get, and there may be merit in looking at reducing that further. But as experience outside of the school environment is important for the development of children, I do not think it will make sense to try and dramatically reduce this further to say 5 or 6 weeks. The reduction in school holidays makes life easier for working parents again, but for the students themselves, the extra time could be transformative. This combined with a change to the school day could mean 300 hours a year or more extra time spent in education. This is enough time to make sure that no one falls behind on the core curriculum. No one will fail because they did not have time. Clearly, this does not mean that everyone will get the top grades, but it should mean that everyone gets the best grades they are capable of. No one gets failed by the system not having time to teach them properly. The extra half term can be used in a very similar way to the extra hour each school day is used. Again, struggling students can get extra help and support, and the other students can get to explore and expand their potential. That is what this is all about, expanding the potential futures of the students. The education system is designed to treat everyone, as far as possible, exactly the same, and it fails most because of this desire. The equality we want is that everyone gets the opportunity to make the best of themselves. At the moment, anyone who is not struggling is, generally, not pushed to find their limit, and those struggling get as much support as can be given, but even so, some fall behind as resources are limited and always will be. By using the extra time, the changes I've outlined today, we help both ends. We open the future for all. We improve most, if not everyone's life chances. The success of education must be measured solely by the development of the students who pass through it. This means we must accept all students are different, and we need more flexibility in how we educate. The time these changes give should allow for more flexibility for the teachers and for the students and for their parents. Initially, of course, this time will be invaluable for mitigating the disruption caused by the coronavirus. Clearly, these changes will require the education establishment to be on board, and nothing I have suggested or talked about today is about saving the government money. It will cost more than the current system, almost certainly, but my only concern has been about improving the system. The improved outcomes that this should provide should lead on to better and brighter futures for all in education. This should mean that future productivity and therefore incomes are higher, which in turn means that more tax will be paid and less support and therefore benefits needed. So in taking the long-term view, this is a very good investment to make. So there it is, my vision for improving the education system. Do you agree? Do you think there are more simple changes like these that can bring about further benefits? Do you think my ideas can help solve the 2 issues of catching up for lost time and levelling up? Do you have better ideas yourself? If all I have done is get you thinking about it, asking more questions, then I have achieved my primary goal. If people are thinking and talking about this, then there's a chance of making positive changes. What have I done about this myself? Well, back in April I sent my MP an email outlining that I believed the first lockdown could be used as an opportunity to overhaul education. He asked me to send him more details, so I did, and he tells me this has been sent to the Department for Education. Of course, I now have made this video and uploaded it so everyone can see. Will it get looked at? Will anything actually happen? I hope so, and this is where my final what if questions come in. What if you send this video to your MP? What if you share this video with everyone you know? What if you comment below where you agree or disagree with my ideas? What if you ask for changes to be made? What if enough people want the same changes? Thank you for watching. I hope I got you thinking. Thanks again.